to do a really unique kind of thing here that I'm looking forward to.
Get ready for your minds to be expanded.
Yeah. We have Amos, the math comedian.
Okay, I'm going to use this for my notes. I only have a few slides, and I'll keep myself to 5 to 7 minutes, I promise. So I am also a philosopher. For those of you who don't know, my undergraduate was also in chemistry and philosophy. What that means is that we talk for a long time. But I'll be out in 5 minutes. Okay, so math comedian. Before I start, though, the verse that sort of ties it for me, Psalm 19:1, the heavens declare the glory of God. What is my talent? My talent is two things tonight. One, I want to make math fun. That's part of what I do. But I want to create nerds by the end of tonight. So that's my goal. But the other thing I want to do is I am working on my comedy license. I don't have a license for comedy, but I will tell some jokes as we go. So quickly, some observations about reality, and then we'll show my equation on the behind there. The math is built on logic, okay? So logic is the bedrock of math, and then math is the bedrock of physics, and then chemistry goes after physics. So basically, that's where we build up from. And then biology, yeah, those people, they're okay. We don't like them. But anyway, so we build up from, from logic. So I just want to tell you two quick logic jokes that you can use with your friends. You might have heard them before, and one of them is, there is no absolute truth. I always find that funny, because if there is no absolute truth, then the statement, there is no absolute truth, is not absolutely true. So by saying there's no absolute truth, you actually withdraw the statement that you're making. Because if there is no truth, then you can't say there is no truth. So truth exists. The problem is, what is it, right? So the other way people say this as a flaw, these are called logical contradictions. And the other one is that everything is relative. But if everything is relative, then everything is relative, and therefore you didn't say anything. So basically, by speaking, you withdrew what you said. So you never said anything, okay? So just tell your friends that if they say that to you. Okay, two quick observations about culture, and then we'll talk about math, and I'll run away. Okay, the first one is young people. I was thinking yesterday about how I could just find a song online or whatever. And I was trying to remember, what did we do in the 90s when we needed to find a song? Are you ready, young people? What you did was you stayed next to the radio all day. And then when the song played, you called your neighbors, hey guys, she's playing this song. And then you all listened to it, and the song ended, and you were like, wow, that was great. That was what we did. We cherished the moment. Now you could just look it up. That's terrible. I mean, there's no joy in finding a song. You can find any song. The other observation is MapQuest. How did we get anywhere without Google Drive? Wait, can you imagine when you miss your turn with MapQuest? You know, you print the directions, and it says take right on I-35, and you missed your turn. You know what you had to do? You had to drive to the next town and find a person to talk to them, right? That's what we did, and we survived. So anyways, I see why communication is failing in your era, because you don't have to talk to people. We had to talk to people. So anyways, I just find it interesting that your generation, people talk about evolution, and this is why I have beef with biologists. But they talk about evolution, and I don't see evolution of progress happening in our society. I actually see devolution happening. Because your generation, I'm seeing TikTok trends of people barking like dogs. We're moving backward. We're devolving. So I don't know what people are talking about as far as evolution, because this society is not moving forward. Okay, so people can't communicate. We struggle to get music and all of that. So now let's just talk about math, and then I'll leave. So I have an equation behind me that I'm going to talk about for a second. Please bear with me just for a second. For those who have if this is bringing back bad memories, just hang tight, okay? But mathematics is beautiful. Back in the day, the use of math was just basic counting. That was the point. But if you wanted to find out how many cows I had and how many cows you had, in a sense, you literally had to bring your cows, bring my cows, and then we count all the cows. But what math does is math takes the concrete into abstraction, and then you manipulate it in abstraction, and you bring it back to reality. Here's what I mean. What if I make one cow to represent the number 1? Well, now we don't need to bring all the cows together. We just need to use numbers to represent cows. And if we add up 1 million plus 1 billion and we get an answer, we know that's how many cows you have without having to bring the cows together. Does that make sense? So that's number one why I think math is beautiful, is that it takes things into the abstract realm and brings it back. Now, I understand that some of you think math is abstract, period, but we do math every day. Math is beautiful. That's part of what I want to establish today. So I want to tell you about two mathematicians or so, and then we'll wrap it up. The first one is a guy by the name of Leonhard Euler. He's my guy, and that's his equation. I think he's the best. Euler was born in 1707, right around when Isaac Newton's tenure was ending. And if you look at the history of math, by the way, most of what happened started in 1600, 1700, 1800. And that's when the three greatest mathematicians were born. Isaac Newton was born in 1642, Leonhard Euler in 1707, and Frederick Gauss in 1777. And one of the things you'll realize is that it's just amazing. You wonder, why did everything explode during that time? Well, we got the Bible in the 1500s. So when the Bible became readily available, people began to realize the universe was greater than they thought. And so anyways, Euler comes along. He gives us this equation. Mathematicians used to be celebrities back in the day. Back in the day, when you could do math, people came to your house. Now, if you could do math, nobody comes to your house. So it's just sad how things have not worked out. And so math is beautiful, and that's what I want to leave you with. When Isaac Newton had a pandemic in 1661, he invented calculus. When we had a pandemic in 2020, people broke the internet watching Netflix. We have a problem. We got to change our priorities in this society. So anyways, what is Euler's identity, and why am I telling you about it before I leave the stage? Euler's identity says that if you take, okay, so first we only had basic numbers, and then we got more complicated. But there's something called irrational numbers. What is an irrational number? It's a number that never ends. But if you take an irrational number E, which is formed by Euler's tutor, Johann Bernoulli, Bernoulli brothers, remember Bernoulli's principle, how airplanes fly? That was actually Euler's classmate, but Euler was way better than him. That's how good Euler was. But so Johann Bernoulli comes up with E. It's named the Euler number. It's a transcendental number that never ends. I is an imaginary number. That's what powers smartphones. Complex analysis is why your phones work. Hence why mathematicians should be celebrities again. Let's make them great again. Okay, and then pi is a transcendental number. If you take a transcendental number E, raise it to an imaginary number, and multiply it by another transcendental number, and add 1, the answer is 0. So why don't we just show the next slide, and you'll see what I mean. This is pi. No, this is just pi to about 50 digits, okay? But we can go to 10 trillion digits. Now let's show that's pi, okay? Let's show the next slide. This is E to many digits. My point is, you're raising the first number I showed you, you're raising it to that power. And now let's bring it back around. If we go to the next slide, you'll see, well, that's the proof. We're not going to talk about that tonight. And then, and then it brings it back around. Do you see the power of math? And that's where, my friends, I'm trying to show the point tonight. Math is beautiful. But why have we ostracized mathematicians? Well, I'll leave you with Bertrand Russell. Bertrand Russell, I know there's children here, so I'm just going to say this part. What I'm trying to say is, he didn't like life. That's all I'll say. But Bertrand Russell said he didn't like life. Life was terrible. But he said, you know what? I will stay alive because of mathematics. So ask yourself, if you don't love math, maybe there's a problem. We should talk. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
All right, Amos, you got that pop quiz ready for everybody? All right, that was mind-blowing. I told you guys your minds were going to get expanded, didn't I not? All right, for up next, we got a rocking show for you. And I bring to you Henry Von Olin.
You know, Amos is a great mathematician when he leaves you just as confused as when you entered. It's all right, I love you, man. Yeah, so